On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick may consider calling it the Not Star Wars Time Show because topics are light this week, but put your fears aside, they will still Star Wars. In fact, they have a Kenobi rumor to analyze and speculate on, as well as a breakdown of the latest Vader comic to discuss. They may even play a round of Mando trivia if Nick feels like channeling Alex Trebek. You may even hear some Halo TV series talk, because why not? There's not much else going on this week. Of course, the show will end with this week's fan segment featuring questions of the week responses and the latest round of Top 5 Star Wars Artist Features. Punch it, Chewie!
Hey, now everybody! Woo! That is the sound of happiness, which also means that the Star Wars Time Show is back. That's right, we are live on a Tuesday. We are late. Who cares? No one's keeping score but Nick or I. That's okay. I mean, Nick just
technical
informed me
issues as usual.
He's on like a it's not a bootleg version of Windows, but it's an eval build, which sounds like he just randomly gets he gets random updates. Yeah, they're just pushed down. He doesn't get to approve them or anything. So we had to spend the first few minutes of the show. I know we're about 10 minutes past time, but had to do a few restarts, a few rub the belly and tap the head while you're jumping on one leg type of deals to the Windows gods. But we're back, we're here, and I think we can hear and see Nick. And luckily, when we were doing the troubleshooting, his Skype bombed out already, so maybe we won't have to deal with that mid-show today.
We'll see.
Woo! It's always fun when the Star Wars Time Show kicks off on Tuesday. That's right. Every Tuesday to live stream on YouTube, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. Usually at 2:30 p. East, but if we get there, we get there. If you know, you know. You know what I mean?
We're pretty close. We were pretty close this time. We actually would have been on time if it wouldn't have been for... First, my recording software didn't work.
Right.
I had to restart that. And then when I came back, like Matt said, the Skype crash happened. So
it was awesome.
We were close.
He's like, I think I just got some new and just froze on the Skype. I was like, yeah, you sure did get some new updates. Thank you, Microsoft. Next time I'm gonna have to send Will Smith over there to smack his ass to get him to get him in line. You know what? Let's just get into that, Nick. I'm sure at this point in time, I know, unlike me, you don't scour the pop culture verse on the regular, but I have to imagine, just with how viral the moment went and how it kind of dominated the conversation Sunday night and all through Monday, that you've at least heard about and or seen the slap heard round the world, right? Yeah.
So I was aware of it like almost immediately because my friends watch the Oscars and we all have like a group chat. So
okay, good. So you were in the moment then.
Yeah, they sent it out basically like, holy shit, does anybody know if this is staged? And then like they just kind of kept me apprised as it continued to go forward. So I was there in real time. And to be honest, like I don't watch the Oscars. I don't think there's many people that watch the Oscars anymore because the whole show's just like a bullshit fest that like people like.
It's very awkward. I mean,
yeah.
I'll be honest. I am a cinephile. I love cinema. I wouldn't say that I set an alarm for the Oscars, but if I happen to remember they're on, I'll definitely tune into a recording, so I can scrub back and forth. But you are right. Like, it's just the amount of douche chills that are present in an Oscars presentation over the past, 5 or 6 years. It's reached a very uncomfortable level. We all know what douche chills are, and it's you're seeing people act like douches, but it somehow makes you feel like a douche, right? Does that make sense? Like, it's almost so awkward what you're watching that it makes you feel awkward, and that's what the entire broadcast was. But either way, I have to say, I wasn't watching it live, but I was on a recording, so I got to see it play out in order. I didn't have to come back and watch it. And like everyone else, I was like, what the fuck? I rewound. I was like, hold on. Does he make contact? Yeah, he makes contact. Is this scripted? I don't think so. I mean, I've never seen Chris Rock act that well in my life. So I was like, there's no way that this is a bit. And then just the reality of the situation starts to set in. You're just going like, what the fuck did I just see? Like, are you kidding? Will Smith, one of the nicest guys in Hollywood, just lost his fucking cool over a dumb joke and smacked the guy on stage. I mean, and no one did anything about it. That's the best part.
Nobody did anything.
Nothing.
I will say this in Will's defense, because if you actually, because like once it happened, like I was like, okay, why? Like, what the fuck actually happened? Because it's not about the moment. It's like what precedes the moment and all the information about it. So like, even in Chris Rock's last Oscars appearance, or like in 2016.
Oh yeah,
like,
he took a dig at the Smiths. It was a good joke.
He was digging at them again, and then apparently in this one, like 4 other presenters prior to Rock, or like whatever they are, I don't know if they're presenters or whatever the fuck they're doing. People on stage were sitting there and they were making fun of Will Smith and Jada for different, not for like the hair thing, but for just different reasons leading up to it. So like you have to figure at that point, you're like, okay, I'm in like, as Will Smith, you're like, I'm in a room full of celebrities. Like I'm not the only person here. Why is everybody fucking coming at me?
When you sit front row, you're a fucking target, pal.
And then like knowing that his wife has this medical condition that she's been very upfront about. And like, I don't know if Chris Rock knows that she had it or not.
He didn't know.
Yeah, so like if he didn't know, he didn't know. Not, like that's not his thing to know or not know. Like that was just like I could see why that pushed him over the line.
But did you?
Like,
here's the deal, and 1-6 brought it up. Will was guffawing, like laughing hard at the joke until he saw his wife, and then it was like 10 seconds later. That's when he's like, "All right, I guess I got to go do something," and smack the chick. It looks like we've already lost Nick here. Oh, you gotta love it. Hold on, let's get him back. Here he is. He's back.
This is gonna be a continuous thing. Then we'll fucking see how this show goes.
That's gonna blow, because it is about every 5 minutes now you drop off. Anyways, I was saying he was laughing initially at the joke, caught on camera. And then he walked up and did what he did.
You could also see, though, in the background that, like, Jada was very upset.
Oh, no, that's the point. Like that's the point. And here's the deal. Like, I didn't know much about the Smiths. I do know they talk a lot about the relationship, and Jada's, been hooking up with random people, and she broke it to Will, like, live on her show, and he just sat there and took it. To me, his reaction was more about defending his own ego than defending his wife. I mean, come on. He was laughing at it. They've got some issues. He's got some issues deep down that he needs to fucking deal with, because normal, sane people don't react that way, especially to a comedian. It's just, you wouldn't do it, Nick. I wouldn't do it. That was not a normal reaction, whether he was getting poked fun or not. I mean, that's part of the gig.
If it was a comedian, no. But like if somebody, like if I was out somewhere and then like somebody started poking fun at Taylor,
of course,
then yeah, I would definitely approach.
That's defending honor. I mean, but if you paid to go to a comedy show, and if you're in the audience, you do become a target whether you want to or not. That's not how you react to a comedian. Even if you want to heckle, that's not even really a great way to act at a comedy show. But what he did was just mind blowing, and I think it does show you that he's got something going on deep down that he needs to address, because that was a wild reaction.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't really give a shit. Like, I think that like Chris Rock's not going to do anything about it. He's already said he's not going to press charges. Like Will Smith's already put out an apology. Like, I don't give a fuck what these two ultra rich millionaires do to each other in front of a crowd that is rapidly diminishing. Like, no impact on me.
It's not so much these two rich people, and it's the fact of how it was handled. No one did a fucking thing. No one escorted him out of the building. They just pretended like it was no big deal. And then Hollywood gave him a standing ovation when he won Best Actor. That's the commentary. That's the insane shit about everything, is like, here you have Hollywood that wants to make a big deal about every little issue, yet that plays out as it did, and they just sweep it right under the rug like nothing happened. And, you know, it's like Hollywood commented on itself on Sunday night. Like, do as we say, like, not as we do. And if you're rich, famous, and powerful, you can get away with whatever you want in Hollywood. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
I think that any like real human with a brain has just stopped listening to Hollywood celebrities whenever they talk about anything. Honestly, like if you're not talking about your movie, I don't care about your opinion. Like I don't care who Robert De Niro is voting for. I don't care what Will Smith's thoughts are on this issue. So like
but you're normal. You understand. I mean, for a lot of people in this country and the world over, celebrity equals demigod. I mean, there a lot of people still can't make that separation, that they're still just humans like you and I. They become like these otherworldly figures. So yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was one of the craziest live moments I've ever seen. It was just like, whoa, this is look, neat.
In my opinion, just cancel the Oscars. Nobody cares about it except for other celebrities. The people who are watching it are only watching it because it's like a reason for them to get together with their friends and drink. And it's mostly just older people who are only watching it because they've watched it since they were like kids. Like, I don't think any new people are tuning into that. No. And again, you're right. Cause like I said, I mean, I appreciate cinema. Not that I don't think I watched one fucking Best Picture from this year. I'm not a big art house type of guy. I'm not a troglodyte either. It's just, I don't know. I mean, with limited movie watching time, I'm going to go see the big tentpole dummy shit. That's what I like. Yeah. But it's like whatever. To me, I think the last Oscars that I was genuinely excited about and thought was awesome was, I think the 2004 broadcast when Return of the King won like 16 Oscars. That's the last one that I watched because I was trying to figure out, I was like, what's the last Oscars that I actually sat down and watched?
Yeah.
And it was that one because I was like, it's been about 15, 16 years since I've watched an Oscars presentation, and that lines up pretty close.
Yeah. No, so it was, I believe it would have been the 2004 broadcast. I'll never forget it because I had just gotten relocated to Fort Worth, Texas, didn't know anybody. But watching the Oscars and seeing Peter and the gang win all that shit and Return of the King, you know, a dorky movie sweeping all of the major awards. I mean, it was pretty fantastive. But yeah, I don't know. It was like whatever. They're
I mean, I love the memes.
Yeah, memes have been great, and once again, our Discord has not disappointed. I mean, Tones, I know he doesn't generate the memes, but this dude knows where to find them, and I've been trying to release as many as possible without turning our page into a full-on meme page, but I just put out one. It's a stormtrooper doing the slap, but he misses, and Chris Rock is in like in a dodge pose, and obviously, if you're a Star Wars fan, you get the joke, but yeah, oh well. You know, good for Apple TV Plus. They beat Netflix as the first streamer to win an Oscar. But outside of the Will Smith moment, I don't think anyone really remembers anything else that happened. It just
I mean, like I know that they're like a queer black woman won an Oscar, and then like
the West Side Story girl. Hey, you know the deaf guy? He's the one that created the Tuscan language in Mando and Book of Boba Fett.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I think his name's like Tony Couture or something like that. But yeah, that was fucking rad. And who? Not that I knew of her when she won her Oscars, but what's her name? Marlee Matlin or Marlee Maples? The other other blind.
Yeah. Matlin. Yeah.
Damn, she is a fine looking woman.
Yes.
And she's got to be. I don't want to say up there in age, but she's got to be what, in her 50s or 60s.
56.
Yeah, not
56.
Not too shabby. Yeah, I mean, some of the other movies, 1-6-shooter, Dune, obviously I watched. Nightmare Alley, I just checked out because it's on HBO Max. I agree, that's another. And I too like Don't Look Up. I know a lot of people didn't dig that one, but I kind of liked how odd it was.
Did that win something?
No, it was included in Best Picture.
Gotcha. I mean, like the only... Yeah, Coda won Best Picture. I'm never going to watch that because that sounds like the most depressing bullshit ever.
Exactly. I'm sure it's great.
Why the fuck would I put myself through that?
Thank you. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's not that I don't appreciate those types of films because I know they're good. I don't like being reminded about how horrific real life is. I don't.
Yeah.
We live life. We know how shitty it can get. I don't want to spend 2 hours sitting there being reminded of like, a family full of deaf people and how hard it must be for the only hearing one, or people dying, losing loved ones, losing kids. I don't want to see any of that shit, man.
Yeah, like the last movie that I watched like that, and it actually performed well at the Oscars, was this movie called 3 Billboards. It's from 2017. It's one of the first,
with Woody. I think Woody was in it. And
Woody was in it, and then Sam Rockwell and Frances McDormand won for like Best Actress and then Best Supporting Actor. That was one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not saying that it wasn't well made, but I will never watch that movie again. Because it's about like this horrible relationship that this woman has with her daughter. And the last thing she says before the kid runs away and ends up being raped and set on fire is, "I hope you get raped." Is like, that's the last departing
sign
words
me up.
of her.
I'm adding that to my list right now.
Let me tell you, like, and like Taylor picked it to go to the movies. This is like, she had no idea what it was about. I was like, whatever, fine, let's just go.
Nick's sitting there like trying to choke himself out in the middle of this movie.
Yeah, I'm like, what the
please.
fuck is going on in this movie? I'm like, this is so like, that's the kind of shit that wins Oscars. And like, I don't want to watch that shit ever. Yeah. Like, I don't want to watch a movie that's
I understand Trevor though, because he's in the live stream. Like, for some reason, I like depressing movies. I get it, because
makes your life seem a lot better.
There's that, Nick, but for me, it's more in music. Like, I love music that makes me sad, and I think the reason is because as a human male, that I have problems with emotions and allowing myself to feel them. But for some reason, sad songs or songs tied to sad memories get me to feel, and I think that's why I like sad music, because I actually feel something. I'm not just the husk of myself. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I get it. Like, some people want that sadness, because I think it is. It's like it's a very strong emotion, and it is one that will definitely get you to feel something.
I also think that like people like us are just starting to lose respect for Oscars, because you've had these movies, these incredible movies that have come out that have been universally praised and lauded by critics, by fans, by everybody in their comic book movies, and they never get fucking nominated for anything. Like, I know
they tried doing that. Would they do like the fan shout outs this year? And I think Army of the Dead won, and Justice League got a nod, but it's like they don't pay any attention to it. It's still fan chosen. It's not the Academy.
Yeah, and it's like the Academy is just so old and out of touch with like what people are actually watching and enjoying, that like what is seen in the show is not translated into what is being seen in homes. So like you said, I don't even know, like, I don't know any of the Best Picture movies, because it's all hoity-toity Hollywood up your ass bullshit. And like, I just don't care about that. Some people do. I mean, like Prop said, like, some people like those, and like, for the people who do, you watch the show. And for the people who don't, they don't watch it, and that's why viewership is in the fucking toilet. So,
yeah, it's I mean, the other thing, like the fact that they don't include stunts as a category, I've always thought is odd. I mean,
and animation was off broadcast now, like
or they don't consider animation filmmaking or some bullshit like that. But like, how's hair and makeup a category, but stunts aren't? Like, imagine if movies didn't have stunts, they would fucking blow. I mean, they'd be terrible. There would be we would lose genres of film. Oh well, all right. So I saw we had some questions here in the chat about Halo, which I do want to talk about. Because I know this is a series that is already looking like it's going to suffer from the Star Wars fandom thing where you're almost going to have three camps. You're going to have your critic camp, like the people that get paid to critique shit. You're going to have the fanboy and girl protectors of the license. And then you're going to have just normal people. Okay? I would consider myself a Halo fanboy, but just like my Star Wars fanboyism, and I know this is going to sound odd for people that listen to the show, I'm not like that. I'm not that crazy in terms of how I act as a fan. Like, yes, on the show, I definitely get crazy, but outside of that, you're not going to find my socials where I'm like, oh, fuck the Grand Inquisitor and Kathleen Kennedy is a Nazi shit. Like, that's just, that's not how I play. So what I've seen with the Halo TV series, Nick, like I said, is very similar to what we see now from Star Wars fans. It seems like the hardcore fanboy gatekeeper types are very unhappy with a few choices. One being the fact that John, aka the Chief, removes his helmet episode 1. That is a big no-no for them. And you know what? I kind of get it. The canon so far has been established that the dude is not seen without his helmet. He's never been featured in a game without his helmet. So I get that. Is that a reason to flamethrow the entire series and give up on it? I don't think so, but like I said, I don't get that intense with my fandom, at least when I'm not on the show. They also don't like that the show is not even remotely paying attention to any of the canon from the video games. And while I'll kind of agree with this a little bit, because it is odd when you consider the vast amounts of canon that exist for Halo, both before the game timelines, in the game timelines, after the game timelines, that it's almost like, and Nick, I think the showrunners have come out and almost said like, yeah, we worked with 343, but we didn't consider any aspect of the video games when making our series. That to me is a little arrogant. That's like, yeah. Okay. You almost have a guaranteed fan base that could keep you making seasons. So why not tickle their taints just a little bit? You know, why come out and stoke the flames? There goes Nick again. So I don't quite understand that part of their choices here. All right, let's bring Nick back in. There he is.
This is gonna be
yeah.
We'll try to make it as short as possible, given that we have now seen Sky crash 3 times.
We'll get things going quicker because this is definitely happening. This is a known issue at this point in time. So, like I said, the story itself, at least in the pilot, outside of Master Chief, Halsey, Keyes, it doesn't exist in the video games. And while I thought like, hey, it's still a decent story, and I kind of see where they're going, although it is very warrior and cub like the Mandalorian. I don't know. I think overall, like if I'm just talking from a fan that isn't crazy perspective, if that makes sense, I thought the pilot, the first 18 minutes are going to give you a Halo boner. Anyone that has wanted to see Halo in live action, my God, the first 18 minutes are everything you would want. The production value is high. The violence is damn near over the top. When the Covenant start busting out their plasma weapons, you see what it does to meat bags, and it is a thing of beauty. I'm talking disintegrating heads, legs, body cavities. It's wonderful. All the practical effects they use and set pieces are almost all practical. But there will be parts where you could tell there's CG and you're like, hey, okay, like we get sometimes on the volume. But production value aside, cinematography, great. Action, great. True to the franchise. And then the next 40 minutes of the show start to set up, I think, what the season's going to be about, which is essentially the Chief and a insurgent. And if you remember from Halo, before humanity fully got mixed up with the Covenant War, they were fighting each other. The UNSC was fighting insurgencies across the galaxy where humans have spread.
So is this like essentially a prequel series then?
To me, it picks up 2552, Nick, which I think is right around when Combat Evolved takes place. So we're at the tail end of the human insurgent war, but there are still like these insurgent planets that, they're out in the, they'd be like out in the Outer Rim. They're not getting news, or they don't trust the news they're getting. They think it's fake news, stuff like that. So yeah, we're right at the point where humanity is still somewhat split, but the Covenant is definitely making their attacks into human territory. And the Spartans are being used to take them out and kind of see what they're up to. So yeah, the first episode takes place on this planet Madrigal from Encanto, which is an insurgent planet, but it kind of sets up the insurgency, the Covenant, and then the UNSC, and like kind of how all three of them become intertwined, as we know in the video games. I mean, there's middle parts of it were kind of slow. Like I said, the ending is kind of unlike Master Chief, although kind of like Master Chief in the latest Halo, where he is a little bit more of a free thinker and not just a yes man, yes sir, point me in the direction, I'll go fuck it up. And I think some hardcore fans aren't liking that aspect of it. But I'd say from top to bottom, if you consider production value, action, cinematography, and just the overall story, I think it's pretty darn good. If you wanted me to put a number on it, it's a 7 to 8 type of pilot for me. Probably closer to a 7 than an 8. I'm definitely interested in watching the full season, but I have seen it it's getting its teeth kicked in some circles. There's no doubt about it.
Would you have? Because I've heard I heard a lot of early buzz about it, and from what I've heard, the people who are more measured in their approach to critique, like you, say that they almost are happy that they didn't just try to straight copy the story from the games, because in the past, like other franchises, other movies that tried to do that just didn't work, like Blood Rain and
of course.
all these.
I mean, the video game adaptation is something that is far from perfect across the board in past video games to movies or video games to shows. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. It is a tricky thing to do. It's just like I said, there's some. It's weird that they pair the Master Chief up with a Silver Team instead of Blue Team. I mean, again, Blue Team is canon. That's who he was rolling with before Combat Evolved. Fred, Linda, Kelly. Those were his Spartans. That's who John literally trained with from the time they stole him, pumped them full of drugs and enhancements to we take control of them in Combat Evolved. But it's like I said, they purposely ignored any of the game canon, which, hey, as you said, with a measured comment, I don't fully get the approach. I get wanting to do something unique, but you could have included some canon from the game to at least check a few boxes for people. I understand removing the helmet. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a specific reason he takes his helmet off. But it's like, do we need that? I mean, was this Pablo Schreiber saying, "Hey, I want some fucking FaceTime"? Did Pedro ever say that with the Mando? Is that why we've seen him with his helmet off more in season 2 than season 1? Who knows? But I like I said, I don't think the choices are enough to completely write off Halo TV or flamethrow it. I think it's got enough going for it that it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of Halo or just some good old science fiction.
Yeah, I'm probably going to check it out soon. You got
the sub, right? I mean, you already have Paramount Plus, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, it's going to be one that I watch by myself for sure, because Taylor is not going to be interested in that in any form or fashion. So that'll be a solo watch for me.
Good call.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not like a hardcore Halo lore person. I know that you were huge into like the expanded
Bro, I used to
universe, the
read.
novels and
I used
stuff
to
like
read
that.
words and shit. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
think I've read more Halo novels than Star Wars. Go ahead and kick me off the show if you want to.
Yeah, so
that's a sad statement, but true.
Like in recent history, Halo has definitely let me down. Like 4 was the last one that I truly enjoyed. I thought 5 was pretty bad, and like Infinite, like after kind of going through the loop that it puts you through over and over again, I haven't even finished it. I just kind of put it down because it got a little boring to me.
Right.
I'll eventually finish it because the game's just sitting on the console. But 5 and 6 have definitely kind of been a letdown in terms of the narrative from a series that used to be.
No,
Like,
you're 100% correct.
incredible.
Like, I like the gameplay in Halo Infinite, but the story is piss. It's shit. It's not good.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that like I can, like, without that super critical like video game lens, that I can like jump into the show and just be happy with the narrative that they're weaving. Well, I mean, hopefully I'm going to give you an assignment. So before next week, try to check out the pilot, because I think episode 2, I think these are going to be Thursday drops. Because Moon Knight's tomorrow on the 30th. And I think Halo's going to be Thursday drops. So check it out. At least check out the pilot, because you do have a point. If you're just someone that likes science fiction and you come into the Halo TV series, I think you're going to be like, okay, that was cool. I want to see where this is going. But people like me that have that history and a little bit of the baggage, I can see some of the critiques for sure coming from the fanboys, but again, does it deserve for the show to be canceled or the creators to be crucified? I don't think so. I think the show's already been given a second season, so you might as well just strap in and deal with it. And I mean, for those of you who are like in that camp and listening, just to give a heads up for the metrics that matter, it's the most watched premiere of any show on Paramount Plus ever. Now, granted, Paramount Plus is very new, but it beat out the Yellowstone.
Star Trek's, beat Picard.
It beat out Star Trek, Picard. Like, it was the most watched show that they've ever put out. So that's the metric that matters to the brass. And I'm sure that some of the feedback from the fan base will be taken into account. But if the viewership like that continues, I don't see why they would shift their.
You know who's heavily
approach.
involved in this project too, by the way?
Who?
Steve Spielberg.
Oh wow!
I mean,
okay.
Amblin Entertainment is I believe the production company.
Wow.
And apparently, I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's Steve. It's just his company. He probably, whatever. He just gets the royalties. But apparently he had a fairly heavy hand in at least pre-production talks and whatnot. So, and it does show, like I said, I mean, it to me, it's same quality as the live action Star Wars we've been getting. If not even a little more practical in terms of the sets, which is pretty cool. So, I would give it a go. I mean, if you already have Paramount Plus, it's a fucking no-brainer. Just do it. Why not? You're already paying hopefully the $10 a month, unless you're one of those crazy people that wants to save $4 and watch ads. You do.
I have the ad-supported version, but I also got it for $1 a month for the first 6 months. So I was like, fuck it.
All right. Okay. Well, I won't pick on you too much. I mean, this is just me and my privileged ass. I'm like, fuck it. I'll spend the extra $5 to not have to deal with commerons. And the sad thing is, Nick,
I still have ad-supported Hulu and stuff.
Bro,
too, so.
they still cut the shows like there's commercials. So even on the non-commercial plan, I still go to fade the blacks when like a commercial's supposed to come on. So it's not like Paramount Plus even took the time to just keep the edit going. You still get that. Oh, nice. This would have been a commercial moment. Thanks, Paramount Plus.
Build that shit in.
Yeah, so it's good TV, and then like I said, I'm intrigued in Moon Knight. It's getting some pretty good positive press today. I think reviews the embargo must have lifted. The chat's asking, is it all at once? I doubt it. I don't think Disney Plus is ever going to get into the binging mode. I think that's Netflix's bag. The only other thing I wanted to talk about real quick before Nick's Skype crashes again.
Oh God!
Is I was surprised by just a random movie I took a chance on last week, and it's called X. It's a new A24 horror flick. I think it's been in theaters for 2 or 3 weeks at this point in time. And I was pleasantly surprised with how solid it was. It's like, if you like slasher type of horror movies, and if you're kind of, you're a man or a woman that likes just seeing other men and women get nude and fucking stuff like that, this movie is for you. It's just, the synopsis is, it's 1979. You got these group of 20-somethings, 30-somethings. They go to this rundown farm that they rent from this goofy-looking old man to essentially make an X-rated movie. Because back in those days, we didn't have the U-porns or the fuck.coms. You actually had to make these things and sell them, and people would become famous doing it. So they go to this farm and they start doing that. So that's where a lot of the sex appeal of this movie comes into play. But then it's just got that dark and disturbing, sinister side with the old man and his old wife and what they get into with their visitors. So I know there's not a lot in theaters right now. I think Sonic comes out this week. I'm excited for Sonic 2, no doubt. But if you're looking for a good horror flick that's in theaters, check out X, 100%.
I have heard good things about that. I still have a lot of theater catch up to do. We're probably going to go see Uncharted during the week, maybe like a Thursday night movie. And then I still have to see the Batman.
I've gone twice now, and I'm still comfortable with my initial take. I think it's about a 85 to a 90, just a beautiful looking film. Like, unbelievably, it's just as masterful looking as Dune. I just watched Blade Runner again, 2049. I mean, that's another one I would compare the Batman to in terms of the visuals and its sound design. Still a little too long, in my opinion, but overall, pretty damn good Batman.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, X is in theaters, if that's what we're asking, what platform, Bat. I don't think it's hit streamers yet. So X is currently in theaters, if that's what you were asking.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So just to kind of keep things moving for our tech-happy type of day, let's get right into the Star Wars stuff. Starting with, really our only topic of the week. But it's Kenobi. It's odd, Nick, because I think this week is kind of what you and I were expecting many weeks to be after the Book of Boba Fett. Luckily, that hasn't been the case, but hey, we finally hit a down week. There were other stories that I just skipped on. It really is like I'm starting to use a Nick filter, and it's like, why? I mean, who gives a shit if Grammar Rodeo has started pre-production? Who fucking cares? What does that give us? Nothing. What can we speculate on? Nothing. The other one was like an EW article on Vader and Kenobi. It's like, okay, yeah.
We've been talking about Vader and
sounds
Kenobi
good
for
to me.
months.
Another one was like, hey, this Fallen Order composer is working on another video game. It's like, all right. Yep, well, I'm not running that either. So we just have this one rumor, but it's a good one. Maybe it'll generate some conversation, some speculation. That's what we like to do right here on the Star Wars Time Show. So, Nick, this one comes from SWNN, the Star Wars News Network. You can treat it as a rumor, but it sounds like this is going to be pretty legit. And we're talking about an infamous original trilogy era bounty hunter potentially appearing in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, indeed.
So without reading the article, which bounty hunter do you think would make the grade for Kenobi?
Without reading the article.
Well, think about, which bounty hunters were featured in the original trilogy. It's the gaggle that was on Vader's ship, and that's about it. So it's going to be...
I was going to say, there's not a lot to choose from. It's only those that you see.
Right.
I mean...
The Sinister Six.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I know who it is, but if I was to think about this without knowing who it was, the one that would make the most sense to me would be Dengar, because he's the most recognizable face of the bunch.
Oh yeah, I mean outside of Boba Fett or IG.
Outside of Boba, yeah, and you could say that Bosk is Bosk and Dengar are probably the two most recognizable outside of Boba. So I would say Dengar, He's human. He's already dressed for the Tatooine weather. And
Toilet paper head.
Yeah. So, but it's not him, right?
No,
So
yeah, you're right.
Hit us with who it is.
So according to SWNN, their sources told them that Forlom, that's right, Forlom, the droid that I relayed to all of you, who I think is still somewhat dead or fucked, thanks to War of the Bounty Hunters and him crossing Boba Fett and getting his head separated and then thrown down a pit in front of Jabba the Hutt's palace. But yeah, they're telling us that Forlom is going to be in Kenobi, and I think it's an interesting choice. And I guess my question to you, Nick, is how do you think Forlom will be used / introduced? Like, where's his in? Because, as you said, there are very iconic bounty hunters that probably even the hardcore fans would at least be like, oh yeah, I've seen Lizard Boy and Towhead before, you know. But Forlom, Zuckuss, they're probably... They're more on the periphery, right? I mean, they're only us hardcore people are probably familiar with these two.
Specifically those two, because even now IG-88 has more of
course,
a prominence because of IG-11's inclusion in Mandalorian. So at least you could look at them and be like, oh wow, they're of the same droid family. Whereas like Forlom, and like here's the thing is like I don't know how he's going to be used. Like, is he now? Yeah, I mean, like, is he an assassin bot? Has his designation changed? Is he like? Because you would imagine that if this was something similar to what was happening in ESB, where like they basically say like, hey, you know, all of you have this bounty on Han, similar. You know,
right.
Maybe the same thing's happening with Kenobi. Like everybody's got a bounty on Kenobi. We know he's alive. You find him, you get this bounty. So maybe he's just one of the ones that's picked up that feed and is just out there looking.
I can totally see that. To me, it's still like, all right, Forlom though. Like Forlom, why did he get the focus? What other angle could he have in the Kenobi series? Remember, he's still alive because he doesn't get mutilated or broken down into parts until after Empire Strikes Back. So we don't have to worry about that. I'm just like, I mean, is this a direct Vader bid? Is this someone else on another planet hires him? You know, do we learn there's someone else trying to take out Kenobi? Is he helping Kenobi? You know, was he hired as a protector? I mean, it could be that angle too. Where's Zuckuss? If Forlom is there, where's Zuckuss? Because they're essentially butt buddies.
Yeah, they're kind of
at least by the time we see them in Empire Strikes Back. So I'm not mad at the choice. I think it's a very unique choice. Because it isn't, in my opinion, one of the most famous Star Wars bounty hunters. It really is someone that, unless you are a Star Wars time show or someone that subscribes to There's Always Time for Star Wars Time, yeah, I don't think you know two shits about the bug-eyed murder bot.
Yeah, and the thing is too, for me, if I'm thinking about this, I would imagine that this would probably be an off Tatooine kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Because for Forlom, we already know that Tatooine is not kind to droids not only in terms of its like infrastructure and like, you know, the scene that we saw in A New Hope where, you know, we don't serve your kind in here to the droids.
They're slave labor. I mean, they're just hired help. That's it.
Yeah, and then also that environment, like we heard, like C-3PO saying to Luke, like that sand and like the Tatooine environment is terrible on like droids, just like they
all end up working at Palimoto's sweatshop at some point in time. Yeah. You know, I mean, so R4 made it over there.
Maybe he's one of the
R5.
Here's an angle. Maybe Forlom is one of the team that's sent to kidnap Leia.
Ooh, I like that.
Because
I could see
way,
that.
Like I could see them being like, I don't think that there's a standing kill order on Kenobi. Let me put it this way. Like if there was a standing kill order on Kenobi like for the bounty hunter community, he wouldn't be able to go fucking
yeah,
anywhere.
no,
Like,
I think they
step out of his house.
I do believe I'm with you. I think the Empire vis-a-vis Vader and the Inquisitors, they left the Force hunting to them. They were like, we know it's kind of a lost cause to assign a bounty hunter to a Jedi. It's just not really a fair fight. Maybe Boba Fett, but even then, you know, probably not going to pan out well. So yeah, I could see that 4-LOM kind of being the connective tissue to the Leia kidnapping. I kind of dig that. I could get behind that versus just like a cloak shadowy figure. They just grab her and then we wipe to the next scene. I even like that better than just the Inquisitors getting her themselves. That to me, that seems like a job beneath the Inquisitors. You know, they should only be focused on Jedi.
That would set off a lot of red flags too.
Right.
Like if Inquisitors showed up and like kidnapped Leia, then that would be like, what the fuck is going on?
No, that's a good point because I mean, if we want to like draw some lines without knowing everything, but you would have to assume that the Inquisitors and the reason they are, and I think we talked about this, that they are going after a target like Leia was with the hopes of bringing out a big fish like Kenobi. So you would not use your own organization to do the dirty work to then try and pull out your target, because he'd just be like, you're having dark side users kidnap people now? Let me put 2 and 2 together. I'm going to stay in my cave.
Yeah, especially in a time where there is still this faux relationship between the Senate and the Empire. Yeah, because this is This is pre New Hope. So like even Senate in a New Hope, exists. Yeah, the Senate still exists. Bail Organa is a senator, and now and Vader and the Emperor and Palpatine are, you know, basically in control of the Empire. So you're not gonna take a group of Jedi hunters. That's what people believe they are. Like, these are people still believe that Jedi are bad and that these Inquisitors are forced to take down the remaining Jedi under the leadership of Lord Vader. So if a fucking Inquisitor walks into a senator's house, kidnaps his daughter, and then just runs away, like that, not only does that completely red flag Kenobi, but that completely red flags the entire galaxy as to like what the fuck is going on here. Yeah, like somebody in your structure has just kidnapped a senator's daughter. Child daughter. Like, and I mean, let's be real. He's almost like the king of Alderaan too, right? I mean, Bail's more than just a senator. I mean, he is a main figurehead on that planet. So you're 100% correct. It would be. And that's why, I don't know, I'm kind of digging your angle, because I'll be honest, dude, I'm usually good at this. I couldn't place my finger on how we get 4-LOM in here and it makes sense, and it not just be another scene of Vader commanding bounty hunters to hunt down a target. And maybe like this is how 4-LOM makes the ESB bridge. Yeah, you know, like this is the job.
It's his proving grounds.
Like,
training.
Like Vader's
day.
Like, we need, we need somebody to go do this job. I don't care who it is, just as long as it gets done. And he pulls it off, and he's like, all right, well, I know that you can make shit happen. So I'll put you. If I ever need a bounty hunter again, you know, you're on speed dial or something. So.
Yeah, and it will be interesting if they do choose to do anything with Zuckuss, just because of how closely linked the two are and have been in. Yeah, I don't know if these. I'm assuming bounty hunters in some capacity were covered in Legends at this point in time. I mean, it definitely sounds like Boba Fett was. I'm assuming some of the other ones at least got casual mentions or small stories told. But they could use this series possibly to add to a character like 4-LOM or his butt buddy Zuckuss if they do decide to bring him in. So I like it. I mean, I'm cool with a little kind of random OT nod like that. It doesn't always have to be the big bangers, you know. It doesn't always have to be the Luke Skywalkers or the Grogus. I kind of like cherry picking from the known background cast, right? We're not talking about, it's that fucking lieutenant from the bridge in Empire Strikes Back, but it's it's random enough that casual fans will be like, oh, he's cool looking. I bet he is somebody, but I don't really know. But also us hardcore types would be like, oh yeah, there you go. Now they're tweaking our titties for us, throwing us those Easter egg bones and those reference bones to the OT.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. Like they could, like, this could have just been like again, like, I'm working off of the assumption that I'm right. You could have created a character. You could have brought in somebody as a cameo, but I think it was the right thing to do for like fans like us to have Forlom come in that capacity.
Do you see any chance of him potentially working for good guys? I mean, in the end, bounty hunters take money.
They do. I just don't know who would hire him and like what the
right.
Like, it would be so odd. Like, because I don't think like Kenobi's not going to hire a bounty hunter, because he doesn't really like. Who's he going to try to kill? Like, who's his target? Yeah,
this is like I think we're having fun. We're speculating.
Yeah.
The only reason I could see him hiring, maybe not so much for a kill, but a job like, hey, go in and scout this spice den out for me.
Maybe,
you're someone that you could walk in there without a problem, without being questioned, go in and, kind of survey the area, scan it, download it, and come back to me. But I don't know. I don't see that either. I like your angle. I could see him in the party or leading the party to kidnap Leia and potentially keep her, right? Like, he's the one actually holding her for the Empire. But it would be wild to see a bounty hunter working for the rebellion / resistance at this point in time too. It would just be something we haven't really seen before. Bounty hunters, they're very anti-heroic, but as we've seen with Din, some of them do have that capacity to do something for good and sometimes for free. But who knows? I'm sure they'll keep Forlom very murder bot-like, and it'll be interesting to see because, he's on a C-3PO chassis, so it's not like this dude can do crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's C-3PO with a bug head.
It's basically like when 3PO's head in AOTC got put on that other put on the body.
But even that's more mobile. A battle droid's body's more mobile than a protocol droid. I mean, just go back to some of the scenes where poor C-3PO's trying to run away. I mean, he's shuffling his feet and arms like, wait for me.
He can't even move.
The best way to get out of a firefight with Forlom is just to walk away. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really even have to try to defend yourself. You just walk.
It's like, I'm going to duck around this corner.
He'll never get me.
You're not going
to. Yeah. I mean,
good luck.
The dude just cannot fucking move. I think it'll be funny to see, like, if they somehow make this thing run. I'm like, well, you motherfuckers, you better go back and fix poor C-3PO then, because that poor thing,
right?
Like, hurry up, Goldenrod, or he's always shuffling his feet and like, oh, wait for me, that type of stuff.
Like, dude, I can't move that fast.
But the other
legs aren't built.
I think a live action Forlom. I mean, granted, we did get a brief version in Empire, but this will be a kind of a souped up version like we got for IG-11 versus what we saw for IG-88. So I think it'd just be cool to see if they've potentially tweaked the model at all, what it looks like in live action. I wonder if that Chris Bartlett is playing Forlom. He seems to be the go-to in the Mandoverse for playing robots and or masked characters. But I like it. I mean, I do. As Deborah said, they're more connected to the prequel era, but also, they're going to have some ties to the OT as well. So I dig this rumor. I hope it pays off, and it'll definitely be interesting to see how Forlom is used. Because in the right situations, he's actually a funny character because he is that very murder bot like, but as a protocol droid. I mean, he's very by the book murdering. So I think that'd be an interesting thing to see play out. All right.
Yeah.
One other thing, and I honestly, if we had more to talk about this week, I wouldn't even be bringing this up, but we don't. So just real quick, Vader 21 released last week, continuing his search for Crimson Dawn. They're kind of claiming this as a crossover with Crimson Reign, which honestly, my friends, has fallen a bit flat compared to War of the Bounty Hunters. I mean, I'm going to stick through it. We got 2 more issues to go. But it's just, I don't know. Like, come on, just get to the point. Show us how Kira failed and died. That's where I'm at. But I always like talking about my man Vader. And in this one, Nick, he uses Sabe, Padme's former handmaiden, who they've crossed paths recently. He uses her to infiltrate Crimson Dawn essentially by himself. So, nice. Picking up from the last issue, Sabe and this droid Zed had captured Ochi of Bastoon and Sly Moore, who we know both work for the Empire, but they're also Crimson Dawn. And she fed them some bullshit data that she knew they would take back to Vader, and then Vader would execute those people in this name list. And they did, and we find out afterwards. This is my favorite part. Palpatine's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, only one of them were Crimson Dawn," and you're like, "Well." You're sitting there as a reader going, well, what, Palpatine, why wouldn't you stop Vader from killing like a whole battalion of troops? But that's the Sith for you. That's the rule of 2. That's just what you do. They're good people. Like, Palpatine knew Vader was going to murder a bunch of innocent Imperials, and he just let it happen because why not? Like, anything that gets Vader angry and hyped up, Palpatine's, he doesn't give a shit. He's like, hey, fuck it. This is good for my boy here. So anyways,
you can always conscript more people.
It's just, I love Palpatine. He really is just a fucking dirty dog.
Yes.
But so this issue kind of shed some light on a lot of these Imperials that were killed, and it turns out that Sabe included every name of the Imperials that came to Naboo. Now, this would have been probably a year ago in this Vader series. Remember, Vader was on Naboo. He found Padme's grave, all this shit, dealt with the Amidalans. But in this fight with the Amidalans, there was Imperials that killed all the Amidalans. So what Sabe did, knowing Vader was looking for Crimson Dawn, she leaked the list of names, but all those names were from the killers that murdered Amidalans. So she essentially got Vader to kill all the people that killed all her people. Does that make sense? So that was pretty masterful by Sabe. But she is dealing with Darth Vader. And, Ochi, he thinks he knows how to deal with Darth Vader too. But he soon learns in this comic that Darth has known all along that Ochi is a double agent. And so he used them, and Ochi took him right to where Sabe was at. And as the issue ends, he force pulls her Crimson Dawn lapel pin off and says, "I am the Dawn." I'm just like, fuck yeah, you are, Darth Vader. So Vader, as it always looks like all his underlings are getting one over on him, but he knew everything the whole time. His plan worked out. Even though he murdered a bunch of people for Sabe, it was worth it so he could find her and her access to Crimson Dawn, which is ultimately what he wants. So Vader, at this point, has successfully infiltrated the Dawn, and we're just going to have to see what he does next in issue 22. So it was all right. I mean, there's some good panels in there. The one I have on the live stream from the video, which, hey, if you want more of these, go to youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show and check out our Star Wars comic book recaps. I do an unscripted these days, so excuse me if there's some stuttering, but it seems to flow, and you get what you get. Don't pitch a fit. You know what I mean?
Very true. Very true.
All right.
We're gonna. Is this the time where we want to kick off the segment?
We're doing good. We're only like an hour in, so let's do the first ever Mando game show.
For those of you who are not familiar, so this is a game show that we announced a few episodes ago, I think like a month ago. So on slow shows like this, I will host a game show where I ask Matt questions off of this here deck.
Oh boy, I'm
nervous. I'm holding a Star Wars Mandalorian trivia quiz card deck. And we will see how many of these questions that Matt can get correct. We're not going to do like the whole deck, obviously. We'll do 5 questions right now. And if we think we can do a few more, then we'll do a few more. But basically, these questions are all around the Mandalorian. I believe this is all season 1 of the Mandalorian.
Okay.
And there are 2 questions on each card. One is worth 1 point. One is worth 2 points. Now, Matt, what I will allow you to do is, for each card, I will allow you to pick either the 1 point question or the 2 point question.
I'm also going to hold my hands up on camera so people see that I'm not cheating. I'm not typing in the stuff.
Not cheating.
Nick is not feeding me. You hear exactly the same thing I'm hearing from Nick. It's not like I've got someone here radioing in the correct answers. Okay.
So 5 questions from this here card deck. Now, if you want to get these cards yourself, you can buy them off of Amazon.
Let's do it.
Just look up Star Wars Mandalorian trivia cards. You can get those there. This was a gift from Taylor's mother. She likes to send me little Star Wars trinkets and stuff like that when she sends her care packages from Italy. And this is one that she picked up. And it also just works as an awesome segment to the show.
I've also covered up the live stream comments because knowing the Star Wars Time Show fans, they'd probably be either trying to lead me astray or spoil it by giving me the answers. So,
very true.
All right.
Okay. There is one other thing here. So the questions are multiple choice, but let's do it. What we'll do is,
I think we're on the same page here.
What we'll do is, I will ask you the question first. If you are having a hard time, then I will give you the multiple choice options.
It's like a lifeline. All right, I like that.
Exactly.
How many? Do I just get one lifeline for the 5 total questions though?
No, so I'll do it based off of just like, okay, clearly you don't know right off the top of your head, so then I will give you the multiple choice options.
I hope to not have to get there. I really do, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right. First card. Woo! Matt, would you like the 1 point question or the 2 point question?
Give me the 2 point. Let's go. Let's get tough.
2-pointer.
Yeah.
Here we go. Who is inmate 34667? That's the whole question.
I'm gonna have to go with Mayfeld.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes.
2 points.
Get some. Right? I mean, he's the only one that was
go point wise.
He was the only one that was really locked up. So I mean, that's where I came to that solution.
Your other options were Mithril and O'Mara. That was the other 2 options.
And I actually know who both of those people are too.
Yeah, I mean, Mithril wouldn't have had like a prisoner designation because he was like a bounty hunter capture.
Right.
All right. So what we'll do is, if I need to give the options, we'll cut the points in half. So if it's a 2 point question and you have to get the multiple choice, then you'll get 1 if you get it right. If it's a 1 point question and you have to get the multiple choice, you get a half.
We should almost just stick to all 2 points. That way we can recycle through the deck and just do all the 1 points at some point in time.
Okay.
Another 2-pointer.
We'll 2 point question.
Here we go.
All right. What drink is made on Sorgan with krill?
Spotchka.
Correct.
Yeah! I know everything!
The other 2 options were krill tea and Sorgan special.
Get the fuck out of here with krill tea.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Next question.
Moving right
He's
along.
on a roll. 2 for 2. 4 points total already. How does Moff Gideon escape his crash TIE fighter?
Oh, come on. With his big dick. No, he uses the Darksaber to cut himself a hatch.
That is correct.
Get some!
Cuts his way out with the Darksaber.
Bring it on, Star Wars Explained!
6 points out of a possible 10. All right. Question number 4.
I got this.
Who requests the release of Miggs Mayfeld?
Seriously? Din Djarin, the Mandalorian.
That is incorrect.
Oh, well, okay. It's probably Cara Dune, but Din's the one that initially asked if she can get him out. All right, I'll take the loss. It
was Cara Dune. You were correct on your second one. No points.
Ah!
First incorrect.
I hate myself. I'm so stupid. That's a bullshit question, but I get the technicality. All right, whatever.
They slipped it under there.
All
slipped
right.
it under the radar.
Fuck.
Okay. Question number 5. Matt is currently sitting on 6 of a potential 10 points. Last question was incorrect. Where does the child stay during the battle between Mando, Ahsoka Tano, and the Magistrate? You can ask for the options if you need.
Oh, he's hanging out in the Razor Crest. Okay, hold on.
That is correct.
All right, good. Thank God. It's like shit.
I will say that this card, they listed it wrong because they put the card says it says in the ship is A, on Tatooine is B, and then with the civilians is C, but the answer says C in the ship, so they just fucked up the typing on it. But you are correct.
Great quality game. Yeah. Oh, I missed one. I feel like a loser though. I really thought I was going to get 5 for 5.
I mean, upon reflection, you were able to find the correct answer.
It's like, I mean, I as soon as you're like, I was like, oh, they're probably going to say Cara Dune because she's the one that technically made the request. But Din literally goes to her and says, hey, I need you to get him out of jail. So that's where my head was going. But hey, I'll take it. 8 out of 10. Not bad for the first go.
Not
that
bad.
actually went pretty quick. So we might want to do more of those next time.
Yeah. But hey, that was the first segment.
As you can see, it's a skill that has done nothing for me in life, but I do have a strange ability to quickly recall completely pointless and useless Star Wars information.
Very true. Very true. So
thank you.
No, that was fun. 4 out of 5 on the first go round. If news continues to be light for the foreseeable future, then we may.
Yeah, no, I do like that. And with how quick it is, we might be able to do it at least once a month. I mean, that only took a few minutes, but no, that was good. So we're gonna have to find more questions and games, like just general questions. Maybe ask the old quasi mother-in-law if there's like just a standard Star Wars game. Oh, we just lost him. He's coming back. And our game show host is back. Hey, Alex, how you doing? Tell us what we win.
So, as we were saying, it was a fun time. It will always be this side, though. It will always be me asking Matt because I have the cards and Matt doesn't. So
maybe we have these cards to go through. I think they're fantastic, but maybe fans and those already in the Discord, we should start a new channel. Do like questions
just
for
like
the
trivia, random trivia.
Yeah, questions
battle
for the SWTS guru.
Gregu says another battle bracket. I mean, that's a potential. We haven't done a battle bracket in a while. The last one we did was the Marvel versus Star Wars, and I think there was like because we did just like straight up Force users, then we did droids, then we did Marvel versus Star Wars. We have to find another like bracket that we can build. I even think, did we do like a duo? No, we didn't do like a duo bracket, but I don't know how many like Star Wars duos there are that you could really throw out there.
I'm trying to like think of topical things. I mean, like a Halo versus Star Wars, but then we'd have to figure out every Spartan's name and abilities and
that would be tough. I mean, the
elites.
Yeah, the only other obvious one that I could really think of is just like a bracket for all the movies. Like just do like
I could see that.
Yeah, like it would be at this point an 11 movie bracket, right?
Right.
And then we could see how that plays out, what the ultimate Star Wars time show fan favorite is.
I like that. Yeah, I like that one. To kind of whittle down to top movie from the fans.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
So maybe I could throw that together. I have to see how the bracket plays out with 11 teams because that's a little odd, but I'm sure that we can whip something up. So yeah, maybe we could do that.
There's who was that? Jared in here. Trivial Pursuit. That might be a good thing to. I think I might have the cards. I'll have to like ship them down to you. But hey, we got time. We still got to work through all the Mando cards. But no, I do like that. I like that. That was fun. All right.
Yeah. Good stuff.
General
All right,
fiction characters versus Star Wars. So just like, like Thundercats, you throw them
Harry
in there.
Potter.
Power Rangers. Yeah, Harry Potter would be a good one.
Power Rangers. Yeah, I mean, like, what we could do is the next one. We already did Marvel versus Star Wars. We could do DC versus Star Wars. I'm not a huge DCer. I don't know a lot of
Gandalf versus Obi-Wan. I like that one. That's a good setup.
You could do Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars, but honestly, Star Wars would just cut right through them because nobody in Lord of the Rings is magical other than Sauron
outside of the One Ring
and Gandalf.
Yeah, so, no, I think Trevor might be onto something. You just kind of pick and choose, more like a pop culture super group versus Star Wars. All right, well,
Star Wars.
Nick's got some things to think about, so we'll try to include those in addition to the games. But yeah, I like playing the game. All right.
Yeah, it's fun. Matt gets to pat himself on the back for all of his knowledge that he has stored.
I feel so fucking special right now. I really did, and that was genuine excitement. I like being right, as many people probably know that listen to the show. I love being right, especially when it comes to Star Wars stuff. So I'm definitely gonna have to beat myself for missing the Cara Dune question, but I still say that they got me on a technicality.
That will only make you better on the next round.
Damn it!
So
do my cattails, right? Like what's that from? The Devil's something.
The Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci's Code. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that one.
Beat myself and bleed. All right. Good stuff there. Good stuff.
Nice. All right.
And all right, friends. That takes us, believe it or not, we're moving quick this week. We told you it'd be a quick one. I know we've been spoiling you the past few weeks with 2.5+ hour shows. Ain't gonna happen. 4
Skype crashes so far too. Not bad.
No, I mean that you're telling me this is definitely a good week to be on a shorter runtime, especially with whatever the fuck candy ass version of Windows you're running right now.
I got the eval. I can send you the screenshot. Evaluation copy.
Nick's are like, hey, insert more quarters to keep running version, essentially. Like
I got the I think it's the developer build is what I have, because I got an early access to Windows.
Yeah, so it is. It's as holy and buggy as it's going to be.
Yeah, it's the developer build, because I got the access through the Windows Insider program, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And because it's like free, and if you wait too long with Windows like updates, then
you're built-in beta tester. That's all you are. You're there right now. They're reading all these crash reports and are like, "Sweet man, that Caminita dude's fucking shit up left and right. Let's go." Yeah. There's that bug we were looking for. He just showed it to us.
Now he knows. Definitely going to file a bug report after this is over. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, we've been powering through, and now we've gotten to the fan segment already.
Hey, real quick before we get into this, just because I see an ad on here, do you have any need to ever wear like work boots again, or Wolverine type of boots, the brand Wolverine?
Never.
Because check this shit out. They just released. You see this? They just released a Halo boot. Oh shit!
I saw that.
It's already sold out. It looked fucking prime. I have no reason for this type of shoe. But I went to look for it, and everything was like, oh, you gotta wait. Now it's just straight up, they're gone. You can't even fucking get them anymore.
I mean, they're only like $225, and like for branded boots, that's not that bad. And like Wolverine boots, I'm pretty sure are kind of expensive anyway.
Yeah,
because they're like high,
I don't know, man. I thought
high end.
I thought they looked badass, but I pussed out, and now it looks like I've lost out. But I mean, I'm a short guy, and unless I'm wearing pants, boots. Not that you should be wearing boots with shorts, really. Anyways, I wouldn't say it's the greatest style out there. You know, wearing boots with socks pulled up, wearing shorts. I don't know about that.
With shorts, yeah.
But I mean, considering I really don't leave my house with the need to wear more than sweatpants and tennis shoes anymore, I don't know. I think that's one of the other reasons I bailed on it. But man, they were fucking cool looking. Oh well.
I will say, like, given their like the standard price point of their boots, like they're actually pretty appropriately priced. Like there's one boot that's just completely unbranded that's $200 by itself.
Well then shit. So, yeah, because this isn't like the Columbia deal where they gouge you. You know, my Boba Fett hoodie was like $150 for a fucking sweatshirt with a hood on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Like, it seems like the price increase that they have for the branding is appropriate. Like they're
now I'm
upcharging,
sitting
like,
here,
50.
I'm fucking FOMOing. And again, I didn't need them. I don't need fucking boots. I don't live in a cool place where there's great trails and
You're not a
mountains.
construction worker.
No, yeah, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go work on a fucking building downtown. Fuck. But I have FOMO right now. All right, let's get into it. It is time for the fan segment. I know, a little bit quicker than you're used to, but it is what it is. There just wasn't much going on. I mean, some of the topics I passed on, they were eye rollers to me, which means Nick probably would have quit if I made him talk about it. So just thank me for editing this week's lineup. But anyways, it's time for the fan segment. We do it on every single show. I don't know if you're going to get this on any other Star Wars podcast where they have a dedicated segment to their own fan base. That's why there's always time for some motherfucking Star Wars time, my friends. So first up, we do the question of the week, which you can get involved with if you head over to our Instagram account on Tuesdays, usually in the morning. Scion, one of these days, I'll get to posting it Monday night, but I just keep forgetting. And this week, I had one of the oddest weekends of my in the past 5 years. My two ladies left. And Nick, I was alone, like completely alone for the first time, I think, since I had a kid. So
wow.
At first,
How was that?
At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bummed out. I was a little sad. To make a long story short, my wife works for NetJets. They run private jets. And as one of the perks, NetJets employees can get on ferry flights, which are private jets to go to other airports. To move jets, moving fleets around the country, essentially to address customer needs. So come Saturday afternoon, she's like, holy shit, I got on a ferry flight to Tampa. I'm taking Charlie. We're going to go see her cousins. Cause my daughter's been really bummed out about not seeing her cousins. Hasn't seen them since August, crying every fucking weekend. And I was like, go for it. It's going to suck for me cause I've got nothing to do without you two around here, but I'll live. So first, Nick, I was a little Debbie Downer. Like, what do you do? Yeah. I mean, it's been 5 years. Mm-hmm. What the fuck do I do? Saturday nights, I'm usually up. We're playing cards, playing board games, watching a movie, eating popcorn. So, sitting around like a sad sack. And out of nowhere, my neighbor, she's like, hey, I need some adult conversation. Matt, her husband, he's on his way back. Who wants to come over and drink? I was like, fuck, this is perfect. This works out. The universe does notice me sometimes. So I rolled over there and had kind of a fun night with the neighbors, drinking some bourbon, talking a little Star Wars. Who the hell knows what else I was talking? Because this was another night. By the end, I barely remember eating my Chipotle at 10 o'clock at night. It looks like I called a high school buddy, so I was doing some drunk dialing.
Oh, wow.
According to Heather, I called a FaceTime with them and sang some West Side Story to them with the music blaring in the background. So I had myself
Deep
a time.
into the cups.
Yeah, I had myself a fucking time.
Hey, man, that's good.
And then, for the first time in years, I was just up in my bedroom late at night watching TV, rolling around like a Jabba the Hutt, like across my king-size bed, balls hanging out. Finally set up this Fire Stick I've had for like 6 months up there. Nice. And then Sunday kind of took care of itself because I felt half dead from the night before. So I just fucking laid around, watched Blade Runner again, watched Halo, watched the Oscars. And then yesterday I had work to take up some time, but then also had another solo evening. So watched a couple movies, played some games. But anyways,
hey,
it was a interesting weekend, one I have not experienced in a long time. Glad they're back, but I'll tell you, outside that initial kind of sadness, it was kind of nice to just be mad again and do whatever the fuck I want to do. I ate Chipotle, I think 2 of the days on the weekend. Laid in bed longer than I usually do. So all right. I still don't know why I just went on that tangent, but just deal with it. That happens on the Star Wars Time Show. I was talking to the question.
Our show. We can do whatever we want.
That's right. Back to the fan segment. Question of the week. Like I said, every Tuesday, sometimes maybe Monday nights, I'll post a question to our Instagram account at Star Wars Time Show in the stories and on our page. All you got to do is leave a comment, and maybe we'll pick it to be featured on the show, like we're about to do right now with this week's question of the week, which is which original trilogy characters, if any, do you want to see in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
Good question. Good question.
All right.
So, first up, Mando_mugshots. He says, I love new characters and all the new world building it gives, but apart from who has already been reported, I wouldn't mind seeing some more obscure background characters like Dex from the Diner and AOTC. I think it's a given we'll probably that will get Palps, even if it's just hologram and maybe Cody.
All right.
Deep cut on Dex. I feel like this isn't the first time that he's come up in like a we should see him again segment.
But it makes sense because if you remember the interaction, I mean, Dex and
they were friends.
Kenobi act like they were butt buddies at one point in time. Like they may have given each other a reach around out on some mission or whatnot. So yeah, I mean, he seemed like more than just an informant for Kenobi. It seemed like there was some sort of genuine background friendship to their relationship. And we talked about, I think Palpatine, it makes sense. I like the hologram approach. I think that's the best way to do it. He shouldn't get anything more than a scene. And yeah, Cody out of any of the clones would make the most sense to me in a Kenobi series, especially in a flashback. Definitely.
Good stuff there from Mando Mugshots. Next up, 2797_studios says, yes, he's in the chat right now. The bat is in the chat. Hoping for some OT bounty hunters. Well, we just talked about that. We've got Vader already. Betting we see R5 at some point. Also would be cool to maybe see the Falcon taking off at some point. R5 is definitely a possibility. Did R5, to the best of our knowledge...
R5 is hanging out with Pelly these days. He's been featured multiple times.
Yeah, I was like, to the best of our knowledge. Well, is that... Well, that's with Pelly in Mando time. So that's like 7 years late. I don't know. Yeah,
so R5, he would be somewhere random because he was picked up by the Jawas at some point, dropped off at the Lars's, blew his motivator, and then ultimately ended up with Pelly in her gaggle of droids.
He's kicking around. Maybe we'll see him on another passing Jawa.
That would be would be pretty random for this timeline. So I'll take it.
I think that would be a fun scene to recreate. Honestly, is if like the Jawas rolled up to the fucking Kenobi, like another droid fire sale. They just kind of roll out like, hey, look what we stole today. What do you want to buy? I think that would be a fun one. All right, thank you, Bat. Next up, TBS Data Vault says I want to see. Oh, Garindan?
Yeah, the guy with the
greatest spy and most likely space. I know who it is now. Okay.
Yeah.
Greatest spy and most likely space. Yes, the big elephant trunk guy.
Dick face, like a true dick face.
Snout around Tatooine. Maybe they could work him in as a boots on the ground informant for the Inquisitors. Nothing like a Kubaz sticking his nose into other people's business.
It's a long one too. Who knows where he's sticking that thing?
The name didn't immediately ring the bell, but as soon as
that to me would be a perfect one because he has such a key moment in A New Hope. Like he's such a shithead selling them out to the Empire. It would be nice to just see him kicking around Mos Eisley. Even if it's just a casual, just in the background. I like that.
Yeah. Just hanging out. It's a good one. TBS Data Vault. Good call. Next up, a Star Wars Toy Story says Krennic, Tarkin, Palpatine, Galen, maybe some Cantina aliens. I know Rogue One isn't an OT movie, but whatever. I mean,
it's close enough, pal. We'll give it to you on the technicality.
Like Rogue is timeline-wise very close, so all of these could work. It would be difficult for me to see. I think Tarkin could happen. I think Palp is going to happen. Galen and Krennic are hard because there's really no reason for them to be seen in Kenobi because they were kind of specifically on the Death Star project. So unless we get a check-in on the Death Star project at just some random point, then there's no other reason to bring them in. But I could see them doing a full CG Tarkin again, like from Rogue.
The Tarkin shit's interesting because he does have a past all the way back to Anakin via the Clone Wars. We're kind of seeing him rise to his power in Bad Batch, right? He's still just an admiral in Bad Batch. He's not the Grand Moff yet. But if you consider the relationship between Tarkin and Vader by the time A New Hope comes around, even the comment Leia throws at was it at Vader or Tarkin? Like
at Vader right in the beginning, like
oh, you're off Tarkin's leash or something like that.
Yeah,
essentially calling him a bitch, like Tarkin's bitch boy. Yeah. And it does not sound like Vader is going to be anyone's bitch boy outside of Palpatine during the Kenobi timeline. Like you got to think he's 32 years old, peak anger. He's had 10 years to fester, build up that hate and power, learn some of the dark side. I don't see him being a little bitch to Tarkin, but I would like to see how they are interacting at this point in time, because something must happen to where Palpatine's like, listen, fuckface, you're with Tarkin now. Do whatever the hell he says. All right.
Yeah,
you're not completely his bitch, but think of if Tarkin tells you something to do, it's me telling you something to do, because that's how Vader acts.
Maybe.
Go ahead, sorry.
Like after he like takes the L to Kenobi in one of his fights, he's like, "Look, dude, like you can't even beat up this fucking desert rat that you should clearly be just wiping the floor with. So I have to have somebody watch you like a fucking baby." And maybe it's to infuse some of Tarkin's masterful tactics or strategies. I don't know, but there something must happen to where Vader just kind of takes it from Tarkin. I mean, there's no pushback from Vader on Tarkin, which completely changes by Empire Strikes Back. He's wiping out the Admiralty left and right in Empire Strikes Back. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. He kills Ozzel right off the bat, Nita at some point in time. So clearly by Empire, none of the officers meant shit to him. He was like, fuck you, I'm Darth Vader. But Tarkin had a very clear hand over him somehow. And I think that'd be interesting to explore. Like, why? Is it like Nick is saying, where Palpatine almost assigns him as a babysitter? Like, listen, shithead, Go deal with this psycho, this madman who doesn't look like a madman, but he's like pure evil in what he does and his strategies and the tactics he uses to take out the rebels. Because it is. I always found that odd when I was a little kid. It was always hard for me to understand how any of those guys in A New Hope could talk shit to Darth Vader and get away with it. Yeah.
I mean, even when he finally has had enough of the shit talk and he starts choking the fuck out, Tarkin eventually is like, enough, and he just stops. Like, I don't see Kenobi timeline Vader doing that. Do you?
No. It's got to be a directive straight from the Emperor. Like he's not like Vader is not going to like just bow down to anybody because of like how the Imperial officer structure
That's what
works.
I mean. That's what's always weird to me, that Tarkin had such a grip over him. It was crazy. Yeah. But clearly the galaxy knew of it. Leia did. I mean, the galaxy, they just automatically Tarkin, Vader. All right, Vader equals Tarkin's bitch.
Yeah, I mean it was an odd dynamic, but that's how it played out. So,
right. Well, good one there. You definitely spawned a tangent. That means you win a Star Wars Toy Story.
And the next one up is just kind of mirroring.
Sorry, Tones.
The same thing.
you get a point too, pal. But it's the same
Tarkin and the Emperor would be a nice addition, possibly even Krennic. Again, same kind of thoughts. I just don't see how Krennic fits in.
Yeah, I'm with Nick 100% on Krennic, unless Krennic's been pulled in and he's sitting around the big glossy table with other high level officers and just almost just sitting there, not really having much of a role. But I do like the Tarkin thing is interesting to think about. I do. Okay. Yeah. I think we had I threw in
a few more.
Holy shit. Yeah. Look, I can't count to save my life. All right. Darth Don Dada, Dangar, Palpatine, and Bosk. So we've touched on. Bounty Hunters, we touched on. Hell, I mean, that that's right where Nick went when I was like, well, what OT bounty hunter do you think would be in there before we dropped the bomb of Forlom? Nick went Dengar and Bosk. And I agree, they are, in my opinion, the most recognizable outside of a Boba Fett.
Indeed. And then last three here on this one, Corellian.
I just meant to do the top one. I got lazy.
Okay,
you can give Dork credit. He's in the chat. He's been here since the beginning. So.
Says we're getting lots of Vader, and that's enough for me. Says Sir Dork.
Right
there, we go.
Corellian Smuggler, Yoda, and Palpatine. Yoda would be an interesting one. I would not be bothered with Yoda and Obi-Wan somehow force walkie-talkieing across the galaxy.
I think that's likely going to happen, is that at least you'll get like some Yoda voice. I don't know if you'll actually get like a full scene, but definitely some
I think knowing what we know though with where Qui-Gon stuff may go, I think they're going to reserve those type of conversations for the end with his direct master versus Yoda. Because it does sound like Kenobi is going to be suffering from Force impotence, kind of like Luke was in TLJ. So we'll see. All right, well, hey, there you go. That is fan question of the week. Like I said, every Tuesday, check us out on Instagram, both in the stories and our page, and reply if you want to, and we'll talk about it, make fun of it, agree with it, shit on it, love it, hate it. You never know. But now it's time.
All right. This version of the top 5 is another Matt version of the top 5 because I purely forgot what day it was.
Yeah, like Nick. Last week it was funny. He did the top 5 earlier than I think he's ever posted on a Monday. This week he thought Monday was Thursday. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah,
explain.
like I legitimately thought that yesterday was Thursday because
that's you're like at my 70-year-old dad's level of reality right now. Like you sit there and you have no clue what day it is.
I don't have a work schedule. We put it this, like I work asynchronous hours is the better way to put it. Like I work whenever I need to / I want to. And so that already kind of like fucks with my days because it's not like I have to go into an office or anything like that. So like that screws with my days. And then yesterday, all day, Taylor was telling me, she's like, today is Thursday, right? Like she just kept saying that. And she's like, oh yeah, well tomorrow's Friday anyway. So like we don't, like we'll have a slow day. And I'm like, I don't, I told her during the day, I was like, I don't think today is today is Monday. I'm pretty sure.
This is great.
And then there is a program that I watch every Thursday night that like puts me in the mindset of like, okay, it hits like the time where Taylor goes to bed and I have this to watch and it's Thursday night. I know it's Thursday night. And they had a special episode on yesterday. For those of you who may be familiar, it's Critical Role, which is the D&D like live stream show. And they had a special episode yesterday and I was watching it last night. So that only reinforced in my brain that, oh, today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday.
You're doing
Friday.
well, though, because when I've done that, even if it's like I'm a day off, where let's say it's Wednesday and I think it's Thursday, and then I come to the reality that I still have to live through Thursday, I mean, it's almost a deal breaker mentally where you just, it sucks all the wind out of you. Because like you said, you hear Thursday, you're starting to gear up for Friday and the weekend, and then you get the reality. In your case, it was fucking Monday. I mean, that had to just been a kick in the balls. Like
it was so weird, dude, because after I got back, I had to like shift some of my meetings over. So like even my meetings have been off cadence for like the last week. So it's just like fucked my head completely. And like I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't have anything to do today. And like I saw my meeting fucking thing go off where it's like, oh, you have your client meeting in like 30 minutes. I was like, oh shit. So like I get up and like I run to my computer because I was like, oh my God, I forgot to do the top 5. And like I log on and like Matt already has it done. I was like, well, fuck. And then I was like, okay, well, I got a meeting in 30 minutes, I guess.
I'm still up early. I mean, the kid's on spring break, but I'm still up. So I was like, I know Nick, he probably doesn't even get up my time till almost 11 a.m. So I might as well work it in there.
I was just so fucking like, yeah.
So I was right. I mean, in the post, in the top 5, I said Nick is still on EU time. So I'm handling the top 5 this weekend.
I don't even know.
Oh, well, we got it out there. Our site no longer renders the embeds, but don't worry, I have the shots to show off. But the top 5.
I have them on mine. Like it might be a browser.
It's my system. I just didn't want to admit it out loud because we want to keep you as the only one with shitty tech, not me.
Yeah.
But no, it's 100%. Safari is a piece of shit. Who cares? But either way. The top 5 is the second avenue into the Star Wars Time Show's fan segment. Like I said, we do it every show at the end of the show after our topics. And to get involved in the top 5, you just have to share your Star Wars content with us on Instagram. So tag at Star Wars Time Show and use hashtag Star Wars Time Show in all of your Star Wars related posts. And I mean it. I mean, cosplay, tattoos. I think we have our first ever top 5 tattooer featured in today's top 5, so that's fair game. Real ass paint, which is you artists, magicians out there, toy photography, which is where this all started. You name it, we want to see it. We'll share it on our page throughout the week. Those are the features. And then every Monday, if he remembers what planet he's on, Nick will pick the top 5. And that's what we celebrate on the live stream during the fan segment. So here we go. This is the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features for the week covering 321 to 328. So I even included some of today's features because I had to, because one was just too good not to include. So, all right, Nick, you can see the posts. I have the other ones open, so I guess we'll just go on the order that I have open. I'll let you know which one we're looking at first, because that's what they're seeing on the stream. So up first, there we go. It is the tattoo artist at Cody_Tweety. And what we're looking at here is a kick-ass, it looks like almost a full-arm portrait of the Clone Wars style Ahsoka.
Yeah, no, man, that's fucking sick.
And it just, the art's fantastic. The coloring is great. I know sometimes that's a hard part of doing a tattoo, getting the colors in and shadows in the colors, because you're not working on, people's skin. Even, white people are white, black people are black. Duh, Matt, thank you. But even, skin tones can change just from the top of the arm to the bottom. I don't know. I think it's a very well done Ahsoka portrait tattoo, and I like the size of it, because it's would you consider that a half sleeve? It looks like from elbow to shoulder, right?
Yeah, it's pretty close to a half sleeve. I mean, it looks like it starts right about like lower shoulder and then down, right? Maybe even like mid shoulder. But yeah, I mean, like that's a pretty fucking awesome, basically half sleeve of Ahsoka. What I really like too is he did a great job of highlighting her head tails. If you look in each, as you go down the head tails on the blue sections, he has the white highlights, or maybe even in this instance, he kind of leaves some of the natural skin tone there to really kind of give a sense of there is light hitting her and it's reflecting off of the colored sections of her head tails. I mean, the line work is really, really clean, which is sometimes hard to do, especially in
I remember that
features.
from Dave Navarro's show. What's that called? Ink Masters. Line work. Because the line work is essentially the outline, right?
Yeah, even the outline, but then even if you look at the line work within her facial details, the lines
it's not
that
all
create
jaggedy and
her
stuff.
Nose.
Yeah,
right. The lines that create her nose aren't
it's
bumpy,
dude,
even
I know tattoo artists, they can probably also just draw on regular paper, but do you not find this talent to be it's unworldly? I can't even wrap my head around how we do this on digital mediums, on paper, but now we're talking about someone's fucking arm. And being able to draw straight lines to actually give a character 3D features. I mean, I feel like there's a 3D quality to this portrait, especially in her face. I mean, you can feel the chin kind of standing off of her neck collar, and like you said, the neck tails have a bit of a 3D feel to them. It's just wild that people can do this on a canvas that is going to be unique on every single subject you touch. No two people are going to have the same skin type, skin color, skin thickness, toughness. I don't know what else a tattoo artist has to deal with, but it's kick ass. I mean, there's another one's if I would have thought about this, I would have got a tattoo like this. And this is my problem with tattoos and why I don't have any, because I can't think of cool shit to put on my body.
Hey, I mean, sometimes it's just as simple as this, where you pick your favorite character, and then boom, you just get it. I mean, I a lot of this guy's work is pretty awesome. I mean, you have a Ratchet and Clank tattoo. If you scroll down a little bit, you have the Grievous right next to a different Ahsoka.
Oh yeah. I think I shared that in our stories. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Whoever went,
they're like
clean. Yeah, they went with Ahsoka on one thigh and Grievous on the other, and they're huge. I mean, these aren't little tattoos either. I mean, these are huge.
Yeah, like that, like a full thigh tattoo like that is going to be way more painful than any arm tattoo that you're going to get, because your skin on your thighs and your quads is way more sensitive. And two, you just have so much more surface area to cover. But still, like, super impressive work. And this guy's also a toy photographer. I was going to say,
it looks like Cody even gets into the real shit here. Nice.
Yeah.
Gets into the old
multi-talented person.
Ooh, look at that one, like the Jedi symbol with the coloring added to it.
Yeah,
that's pretty dope.
That looks awesome. Yeah, I mean,
look at the
amazing.
Vader. Look at the Vader arm with the Death Star in the back.
Now, Matt, I think you may have found your potential artist if you're ever going to
look at the
Star
Maul,
Wars tattoo.
like the Maul outline. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, this dude does some pretty sick work.
Oh, wow. Game Over Man. That's from Aliens. The dude's rifle's on his forearm. Yeah.
I like the American traditional style stormtrooper he has here, too, with like the rose flower at the bottom of it and then the Imperial logo at the top.
Holy shit. Look at the Samurai Vader helmet.
That one's also pretty sick. Yeah, I mean, this guy is very, very talented. Awesome stuff. He works at Red Arbor Tattoo, which is located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So if you live in South Dakota or near there, you know that you can
sign up at Cody Tweedy for sure. I mean, I could scroll through this page for a minute, but we got to keep moving on. So at Cody Tweedy, thank you for the tag. I'm glad you are joining in the fun. I saw you in the stream earlier, probably tuned out because you're like, what the fuck is this? Maybe you came back. Either way, we speak your name for sure on the Star Wars Time Show. Great work here. Both tattoos and toy photography. So again, at Cody _TWEEDY, Cody Tweedy. Good shit. Okay, Nick, as you like to say, up next is a returning top fiver, a great toy photographer out there, and that is Guillaume.gh4. So for those of you that don't understand what I said, because neither do I, GUILLAUME.gh4. And Nick, what we're looking at is I just love the gritty tone first and foremost. But it's a gaggle of stormtroopers with the focus on a sergeant or a lieutenant. He's got the backpack and the extra shoulder jazz here. I don't know. This one, it's that the gritty take on it is what stood out to me, Nick.
Yeah, I love the. I don't know if it's like a film grain, but I do agree that whatever Guillaume did here with the like the texturizing of the image or like a filter, whatever filter you put on the image, just really does make it stand out. I like how you have kind of this light source, like some kind of light rays coming down from like the top right of the picture, and then it really kind of fades to black.
Yeah, exactly. Like it gets dark as it gets closer to the bottom and the left side. I mean, it's just like that's how the light was shaped. I don't know. I mean, trooper shots always look good. This goes back to my hyper fascination with the Empire and what they chose to wear and use in their war machine. I mean, we know these guys are assholes. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn door. But I tell you what, they sure fucking look good doing it or missing it. You know what I mean? I mean, just
not doing it.
Right. Trying to.
Failing at everything that they do.
So yeah, this we featured, as Nick calls him, Guillermo del Toro a few times in the top 5 before, but this is definitely a great account to check out. Lots of moody takes, moody tones. At GUILLAUME.gh4 over on the gram. Hook him up. Oh, look at Devin's back in the chat. Apparently he got a He's like Mr. Cameo these days. Hey, Devin, I gotta know,
really?
I want you to make a shirt for High Pitch Eric, who I think is one of your biggest cameo revenue producers from the Stern Show. Like, is that? I want to know, like, does Devin get mixed up with the celebrity voice call side of? Do you know what Cameo is, Nick?
Yeah, it's like you can pay celebrities to like send a video to you or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I know you don't listen to Stern. I think your dad does, but there's a whack packer named High Pitch Eric, who's this big fat guy who talks like this. You know?
I've heard him before. Yeah,
he's like a slow adult, so they put him up to stuff, and he does it a lot. But apparently he makes like six figures on Cameo from Stern fans paying him $80 a clip to drop these for people. And I wonder, like, if Devin gets mixed up in the call side at all, or if it's just the art they do for celebs. Sorry, tangent. Tangents happen. I saw the name in there. I haven't seen Devin in the wrench for a bit. I think Props was in here too at some point in time. All right.
Was. Props was in as well.
So that was at guillaume.gh4. I'm sorry, my Spanish is off today. Up next, and I love this one just for the speculation approach. We have a full-on Star Wars 3.75-inch toy photography pick from at Kingdom of Weird. And what he's giving us, Nick, is, you know, kind of based on some of the topics from last week's episode of the Star Wars Time Show. He is envisioning what Mandalorian Season 3 could look like if we get a scene with Christopher Lloyd in it, and Lloyd is indeed playing a cloning scientist. So what we see, again, this is all practical. He's got some sort of experiment and a bacta tank. Thrawn is there. I thought that was a nice touch. He's got this other character who's supposed to be Doc Brown, kind of wearing Krennic's all-white cape. We got the Praetorian Guards, which we've heard are going to pop up in Mando Season 3. So I just loved the speculation approach that Kingdom of Weird went with. And the fact that these are the tiny figures, and it still looks like a well put together scene from The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic that he was able to kind of really cook up this entire scene on his own. You can also see that, like, there is something in a bacta tank, and, like, is this a cloning experiment? Is this like a first version of Snoke?
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, just the whole setup is super impressive from Kingdom of Weird. Knowing it's 375 just makes it even more impressive. And it does give us a potential avenue for what we could see in Mando S3 if Doc Brown, if Christopher Lloyd ends up being a cloning scientist.
Listen, I think we're like such meatheads. We don't know people's names, just their character names. Yes, we can't separate fiction from reality. That's us.
Exactly. But no, I mean, this is like speculation taken to the next level. So, I mean, awesome shit by King.
Oh, check this out. This coming full circle back to Devin. He told us in the live stream here, he just sent designs over to Christopher Lloyd for some official Back to the Future merch.
Oh my God.
So, they're going to be bangers if they're coming from Devin, aka most of you might know him as at Super Scoundrel on the gram. I mean, to me, Back to the Future, that's like right in his 80s wheelhouse, right? That kind of neon
Arnold
vibe he went with. Yeah. Digging it.
Like same kind of.
But no, this shot kicks
awesome.
ass. And apparently, Kingdom's in the chat here. What he is using, for those other toy photographers out there that may be interested, this is the recent Tantive 4 playset that he just reversed and has kind of repurposed some parts to create this lab. And apparently the bacta tank comes from a 20-year-old set at the 375 scale.
Fucking, again, like, it's wild that Kingdom can look at all of the stuff that he has and be like, okay, well, I can take this and flip it upside down, and that can be stairs. And then I have this 20-year-old bacta tank here that I can fucking shove something into and make it look like Snoke. Then I can repurpose this other thing to make it look like Christopher Lloyd's character.
You're spot on, man.
Smash, that is just...
It's part of like the triumvirate I've talked about when it comes to toy photography, or I'm assuming any type of art that you create. It's, you got to just have the natural creativity. You got to be able to see the world differently than other people. Like Nick is saying, I mean, you look at a set for Tantive 4, to me, it's a set for the Tantive 4. It's not a fucking lab. That just doesn't click to me. I don't know if I turn it upside down, it might look different. And then you got to be able to stage the scene, and then you got to be able to take the picture. So, I mean, you're spot on, and that's something I've lacked in my own toy photography is trying to figure out ways how to repurpose things that look Star Wars-y that might not even be Star Wars, or just repurpose my Star Wars stuff to look completely different than what it was meant to be. So good stuff there. I mean, Kingdom Weird, one of the best small scale shooters out there. And by that, I mean the 3.75 inch. You can just call it Matt's weenie size inch figures if you want to make it easier to remember. So that's at Kingdom of Weird on Instagram. You'll know you found the proper one. He's got the Cartoon Network-esque logo.
Always loved that.
Yeah, no,
I've always loved that.
Good logo. But that apparently it actually is Doc Brown wearing Krennic's cloak. So
sick.
Okay, up next, this person needs no real introduction. I'm sure at this point most of you are trained to when you see a photo like this that it's probably from one at BLKSRS. That's right, at Black Series. Looks like he did just a little casual setup over the weekend here during the Clone Wars era. We've got Cody kind of is our main subject, but what's Cody's battalion? Are they the 212? I think they're the 212.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got a bunch of the yellow clones out there, and they're in a hell of a battle. We've got some practical particle effects going on, plus Zay's usual, added post flare and some blaster bolts. But I don't know. He like Trevor 1/6 shooter, work more or less, Swip Picks, Sir Dork, Super. I mean, there's just a lot of accounts that whatever they put out could be in the top 5. Most definitely are going to get featured, but it probably could also make the top 5. And this is what Black Series does.
Yeah. One thing that really stands out to me for some reason is just that solid red laser bolt right across the top of the screen.
I like that choice too. I like that.
I know it makes it feel more gritty and realistic because if you are a wartime photographer, you're on the field, you can't control.
Yeah, you're not posing your battle scenes.
Yeah, you're just you're taking pictures, and then what's in frame is in frame, and that's kind of what that feels like. It makes it feel more grounded and
to me that's either an orbital strike coming in. You have the CIS up there just dropping bombs on the planet, kind of like we saw in TLJ with the First Order doing it to the Resistance. Or the combat photographer is in the thick of it, and that's a blaster bolt going right in front of their lens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many different angles you can look at it. It just works so well with what you see in frame.
It's I don't know. Really I'm curious. Why? I wonder what was the design choice. Why was that added? Is that what is causing the explosion behind them? Is that what the viewer is supposed to think? Either way, I'm with you. It instantly catches the eye, but it also kind of adds to the scene here. This battle, a very clear battle right in the thick of the action.
Indeed. Excellent shot.
All right, so that's at BLKSRS, definitely one of the top dogs out there in the toy photography game. And then last but not least, we have this highly detailed face sculpt, which at this point in time, I've seen this account. And we're talking about a galaxy far, 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 not just 2, 3 fars away. So a galaxy far, far, far away. And Nick, they have to be doing deep fakes on action figures. Because what we're looking at here, I think this is just the Black Series Old Man Han, and then maybe that's the Figure Arts Book of Boba Fett Boba. So, the timeline kind of works up. I don't know if Han's hair would be this gray during the Book of Boba Fett timeline.
Might not be that old. Yeah.
But to me, it's the fucking face on this figure. And I swear, at Galaxy Far, Far Away has mastered a deep fake technique for action figure face sculpts.
Yeah, I mean, this is I mean, like, you have incredible amounts of, I mean, like, beard stubble. You have, like, crow's feet around the eyes. Like,
it's better detail than you'd get on a Hot Toys figure. And these are 1/12 scale 6-inch figures.
I mean, it's wild. Like, just so, like, I don't know how he's getting that level of detail into that face, but it is just absolutely almost uncanny valley. Like, you're getting to that degree of realism.
It's wild. Like, they probably got one of those photoreal painter people who knows? I don't know what they're doing, how they do it. But if we go and look at A Galaxy Far, Far Away's page, I can show you others. I mean, it's not just Han. Like this Kenobi one here. Check out that face on Kenobi. That's not what that figure's face looks like. It's not. The ladies here, the Night Owls and Fennec. Actually, there's some improvements there. It doesn't look like he did much to Ming-Na's face, but either way, like I said, I mean, I'm familiar with this page. See him a lot. He's a good tagger here, but they've got some crazy trick with these faces on figures that is more than just repainting the figure's face or buying someone that sculpted a much higher quality face here. Oh, this one actually is. As I say that, this one says head sculpt by Fett Clone. So,
well, there you go.
Who the fuck knows what I'm talking about? But I swear there's some sort of kick-ass digital face painting going on here. Yeah.
Trickery going on. But yeah, I mean, the shot itself is also just well executed and well posed. I mean, having Fett in the background, out of focus, Han walking away. It almost seems like Han is just like, Han knows he's there. It's almost like they were just having a conversation, and then Han just like walked away, just like, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck.
not fucking
and then
with this
Boba
shit.
like Boba draws down on him, and then like right after this shot, like Boba says something to him, and then like Han freezes and turns back around.
As he's
like
pointing the gun
setup.
at him, he says, "I now rule with respect," and he gives him a big hug. Right.
Just like everybody wants.
Solo.
Right? Just like
You thought I
Boba
used
Fett.
to rule by fear? And he pulls out his gun and he goes, "Now I rule by respect. Come here, big guy." And he gives him a hug. He's like, "I missed you, you fucking scoundrel."
That's
son of a
everybody's
bitch.
favorite Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
That's what people wanted to see in the show. That's why they were so
benevolent
upset.
Fett. They did not like benevolent Fett. No doubt about it.
All
right, so there you go. That's at A Galaxy Far, Far, Far Away, all one word there on the handle. And that does it, Nick, for this week's Top 5. Sorry to steal it from you, but like I said, I had some time while I was shadowing a class this morning, so I got it out there just in case you really did forget that you were on the planet Earth.
Since today is Friday for me, I'll probably put out my top 5 on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I would put mine out on Friday.
Yeah,
so
all right.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Everyone keep posting. Nick is rewriting the calendar for the first time in human history. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, once the Senate approved permanent daylight savings time, he said the Senate in my mind is going to approve any day is whatever the fuck day I say it is. So that's where Nick's at right now.
That's the next logical thing.
If you want Tuesday to be Friday, so be it. It's Friday.
That's right.
Whew. All right, everyone. See, we still gave you 2 hours of content there on a very, very light week of Star Wars topics to cover. So hopefully you enjoyed what you tuned into, because you truly never know what type of hornet's nest you might walk into with the Star Wars Time Show. At least this week, I didn't yell at any fans. So that is a bonus. I don't have to get off the show and kind of feel bad. All right. Just don't slap comedians if you don't like what they're saying. It is not how you should conduct yourself. Okay, Nick, let's put her to bed, buddy. So, everyone, you know what time it is. It is time for Star Wars Time. StarWarsTime.net, that is. That's right. If you head on over to StarWarsTime.net, that's where you can find all of our topics or none of our topics if it's a week like this week. But either way, StarWarsTime.net. I'm just going to keep saying it so it sinks into your gray matter. One more time, StarWarsTime.net. Also, if you go to that address and you're not subscribed to any of our platforms, we have some easy links to jump off and do just that. Just click on subscribe to podcast, subscribe to, hell, if you're already subscribed to one, why not subscribe to 3 more? Pad the numbers. Don't forget about the ratings and reviews. That's even more important than hitting the subscribe button. You can also find the YouTube information, accounts, subscribe buttons. All that is also on StarWarsTime.net. Just scroll around a little bit. You'll find our handy dandy Star Wars Time on YouTube section. Click that subscribe button and you are off to the races. If you're watching right now and you like the live stream, leave a comment. If you didn't like the live stream, leave a comment. If you hated the live stream, leave 3 comments. And then like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We actually have gotten pretty decent at committing to a regular schedule, so those notifications are key. Make sure you turn them on. Because, my friends, there is always time for Star Wars Time, as we proved even today. With just one topic and a shitty comic book recap, we still gave you 2 hours of banter. It might not have been the most interesting. We tried the new video, the new game segment. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you didn't hear it, make sure to rewatch earlier in the episode before the fan segment kicked off. Nick challenged me for the first time to a game of the Mandalorian. And due to a technicality, I did not go 10 for 10, but I'll take 8 out of 10 on the technicality. So if you like that type of stuff, want to play some games, Star Wars trivia, Star Wars speculation, Star Wars nonsense, yelling at fans, agreeing with fans, hating fans, loving fans, Star Wars Time Show. There's always time for Star Wars Time. StarWarsTime.net. Don't forget. And as always, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.